another one? What's with these guys?
Hello everyone, welcome to Red United TV. It's your boy Ivorian Spice, and we're back at it again with the catch-up volume 84 of the week after a brilliant win against Spurs and then ending it with a draw, which was a positive result for Manchester United, depending on how you look at it. You know, some of us probably would have thought maybe we dropped 2 points. We felt like we've lost because we should have won that game. But at the end of the week, and the end of the day, it was a good result for Manchester United. Thank God we didn't lose, but we held with a point and we came back and it showed a lot of character. Big up to those who are tuning. Smash that like button. Remember to share. Of course, this is your beloved Manchester United channel where we wrap up the game against Chelsea and also wrap up the weekend in the Premier League fixtures. As always, if you want to contribute to the channel, click on the link description. But let's get straight into it. Let me introduce you to my guest first of all. Let me bring up Boche from the football capitals, man. Big up, Boche. It's been a while. I've seen your beautiful Aussie face, man.
Yeah, I know, bro. It's been a while. Thanks for having me on, man. Looking forward to it.
As always. And of course, we have Moses from Wonderball Media. Moses, big up to you. He's making his debut today. So what's up, bro? How's the weekend? How's everything? First of all, welcome.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, man, it's good to be on the channel. Like you say, it's my debut. Hopefully I can make a good impression on the gaffer, get another call up. But no, man, it was a decent weekend. It was a decent weekend. Obviously, the result could have been better, but look, it's a way at Stamford Bridge. I'll take a point, especially after the win against Spurs. Keep that momentum going. But yeah, man, good to be on the panel as well. Big up Football Capital. Big up Ivory and Spice. Good to see you boys again.
Yes, man. And of course, my other co-host, Jerome. How's it been, brother? Welcome as always, man. Forever green on this channel, bruv.
Yeah,
how you been, Jerome?
Yeah, I've been blessed, man. Thanks for having me as usual. It's been a good weekend and obviously made even better by United's 2 recent results. So yeah, I'm bouncing into the show today. I'm not going to say United are back just yet, but the shirt certainly is. So yeah, let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah, definitely. Let's keep the momentum going. That's what we want. We want to keep things going, man. But of course, guys, we're here to discuss the game against Chelsea and then move it up to the weekly debate that took place between Roy Keane and also Gary Neville after the game against Chelsea. It was an awkward moment for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, but again, at the same time, he probably loved every single moment of it. You know, sitting there thinking, fucking hell, man. Right. Like Gary Neville. But guys, let's go straight to it because it is one Manchester United getting the point against Chelsea after a last-minute goal by Casemiro. Brilliant performance by Casemiro, a man in the match performance by Casemiro, but unfortunately, Manchester United dropped points. Where a game where they should have won. It was a tactical masterclass. Basically, people said it was like Magneto versus Professor X on a chessboard playing chess games with their tactical situations. But we loved it. Big up to Bobs, big ups to Ems that's tuning as well. Big up to you guys. As always, smash that like button and also remember to share. Let's get straight into it, guys. Who wants to start it off regarding the game against Chelsea? Anyone can have the floor. And of course, we join in. So who would like to go first?
Yeah, I'll jump in, man.
Go on, Moses.
Do you know what? Going into that game, I was expecting the game that we sort of saw, a bit of a tough game where both managers sort of earned their bread. But after that first 35 minutes, I can't lie, I'm disappointed by the result. I thought like we really stamped our authority on that game. We managed to carry that momentum that we had against Spurs into that first half. And then up until that Kovacic substitution, I was thinking we were going to win this game quite comfortably, to be honest. But I guess we saw where Potter sort of has demonstrated over his time as a manager that he's got a very, very astute tactical mind, and made that substitution. I like Jose Mourinho-esque early substitution that threatens to sort of put Cucurella's confidence and belief into doubt, but ultimately puts his team first. And he turned the tide of that game pretty quickly after he brought on Kovacic. I think ultimately we should have come out with that game with 3 points if we took our chances. Time and time again, I feel like we're saying the same thing after Man United matches. We can't finish our dinners, and the amount of chances we create just don't reflect in the scoreline. We were lucky against Spurs with that early goal, but look, we've shown again that we've got the drive, we've got the determination, we've got the mental strength now to come out of these tough positions. What we had 6 minutes extra time, but we had about under 10 minutes to react. And we reacted, and so look, it's good to see Ten Hag being able to. He didn't really make any changes. The players on the pitch switched on, and they went for that. They hunted down that point. So yeah, overall the way the game finished, I was happy with, but the result I'm not happy with at all, man. I think that Chelsea were there for the taking, and if we were, I'm not going to say if we had Ronaldo, but if we had the finisher up front, I think we come away with all 3 points.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think, to be honest, going into the game, we all know going away to Stamford Bridge, it's always a draw for some reason. This fixture, and there's always last minute drama. Last time we saw it with Ross Barkley, Diego Costa. How many times in this fixture last minute goals we see? And you know what? I would have taken a draw at the start of the game, right? But the way it panned out, we'll complete control of the game. I don't remember Chelsea having really a clear-cut chance in the first half at all. We had I think one with Rashford, and then the one before halftime with Anthony that should have, with someone with 80 million, you got to have a little bit of a better right foot than that, do you know what I mean? But look, you're right. When Kovacic came on, kind of changed it a little bit. and you can see and that just shows the pressure and the possession that United had. And again, this is what, 3 games on the bounce now, where at times United had over 75% possession in a game. So we are controlling the game, but you know what it is in the final third. You're right, Moses. We are lacking, and it's not, it's evident to see there that we don't have a finisher. Martial could he be the guy this season? Possibly, but when you're not fit, we'll never know. Pre-season you were excellent. When he came on against Liverpool, you were excellent. The link-up play, and I think even Martial on the pitch makes someone like Sancho a better player. Sancho didn't have the best of games in this one, but yeah, it is frustrating getting all right, the penalty. You see him given all the time, you know what I mean? McTominay should know a little bit better there, not to hold on for too long, you know what I mean? But like you said, the resilience at the end to not capitulate like we usually do, because that's what the biggest thing this season, or even last season, when we concede, we completely capitulate. And this time, especially 85th minute, we went at it. We went exactly that mentality, that winning mentality from everyone now. And look, players like Luke Shaw stepping it up there as well. Fred, you could say a little bit as well. At least the mentality is there from Fred. All right, he might not have the quality, but the mentality is there to keep pushing on. We end up getting that goal, and you can see how much that meant to Casemiro, to even McTominay. McTominay was giving him the extra long hugs, saying thank you for that. But I think we move on, right? I think we don't really dwell on this game. If we look at in a whole season, no one's really watching this game back. It wasn't the best of games, but I think the last 3 games, even against Newcastle, I think we played well. I think the system and the philosophy of Ten Hag, we can kind of see it. We are controlling games. We are creating more chances. We are having more shots. It's just the final product now of finishing our chances. When's the last time you've seen United play out from the back? I've always criticized David De Gea by his distribution now, and he's a little bit comfortable now on the ball. To pass it in between the channels, in between the lines, he's not scared. All right, there's a few balls that do go out, but it's still early days. So you can see improvement in individual players. Overall, I'm happy what I'm seeing from the team this season. But this game, yeah, maybe we should have got the win, but we move on to West Ham, I guess.
Yeah, and just to add to that, going into the game, that was statistically the most drawn game in Premier League history. So it literally had a draw written all over it. And the fact that we went into the game against the Chelsea side that had 5 successive clean sheets, for us to go in there aiming to get at least a draw at the start of the game would have been a good result anyway. But as the guy said, on reflection, we should have had that game wrapped up in the first half. And just to add, it was just so frustrating that we didn't score at least one goal in that first half, and that's just highlighting the weaknesses that we have in the team, that we just don't have a natural striker that's fit that could just go in there and take those clear cut chances away. So at least we know what we need to address in the January transfer window up front. That's definitely the priority area. But the good thing is that the mentality of the team's changed, because if that was last season and Chelsea scored from that penalty, we would have lost that game 1-0, or probably even conceded another, because the team would have just mentally just capitulated and just gave up. But we just kept going and going and going and got the deserved equaliser. In fact, that equaliser should have been the winner, to be honest. We should have won that game. And all Chelsea fans that I know, I haven't heard nothing from them all weekend, because they know that they did not deserve anything from that game. And if we had lost that game, it would have been an undeserved victory for Chelsea. And nobody from Chelsea could even dispute that, because it's based on the first half, we should have had the game wrapped up. So the positive is that we didn't lose, and we keep the momentum going. And having faced 2 teams in Spurs and Chelsea that finished in the top 4 last season, we can look back on that in hindsight as 2 positive results. And now we can move on. Hopefully we can start beating these so-called smaller teams more comfortably and boosting up our goal difference, because as I keep saying, we need to start putting our chances away and scoring more goals. Otherwise, that's going to hit our efforts to get in the top 4.
Yeah, because we're a lot more solid in the back. Like, I don't see us conceding, and we don't concede. All right, a few, maybe a ball went through to Aubameyang and all that, maybe had a missed touch, but we just look so much better in the back, like so calm. And now Varane's injured, so who knows how that's going to go. But then again, Lindelof comes in, and we still looked okay. We still looked okay with Lindelof there. So hopefully in the back in training and all that, he's working. Ten Hag's working with Lindelof, and hopefully that partnership with him and Martinez. I mean, Martinez, they were complaining about his height apparently, but he's done well. I don't know what other centre back in the league has put up performances like him.
That's exactly what I was saying. I think he's up there with the top centre backs in the Premier League. Literally, I think because he was playing with Maguire in those first 2 games, people were just criticising him. But since Maguire's been out of the team and he's been playing with an actual good quality centre back partner in Varane or Lindelof, we've seen the best of him. Sometimes just who your partner is and who's leading the team that can affect your performance.
And one thing I'd say is that the common denominator will always be Maguire. So people need to highlight that. Whoever Maguire is next to, he makes them look really bad. You know, they're the one that look shit. Just get him out the way. One interesting thing that I liked about the game, the first 30 minutes of Manchester United dominated against Chelsea, gave me that kind of vibe where Louis van Gaal went to Stamford Bridge and dominated the whole 90 minutes against Chelsea for Chelsea to win 1-0. At the end of the game, I think it was 1-0, 2-1. But
yeah, it was 1-0.
Yeah,
we had 70% possession that game.
Absolutely, and Manchester United doing that against Chelsea at Stamford was lovely to see him. And then, of course, Harry Potter himself cast his spell, Expelliarmus, brought in Kovacic, and then leveled the playing field. One thing I want to ask you guys now is that question of, was it a tactical battle, or it was just 2 teams that were just trying to win the match? Because I can see that things changed when they made the change. Kovacic came on, and then Ten Hag reacted by bringing on Fred and etc. And the whole game changed and etc. So was it a tactical masterclass by both coaches?
Not a masterclass, but it was definitely a tactical battle. I think we were winning it up until the Kovacic substitution, as I said, and then following that, I think Ten Hag. Look, Sancho wasn't playing well, but as soon as Sancho came off, we lost a bit of control. And I'm not saying it's because of, but we lost Bruno from the midfield. And I feel like Bruno was he wasn't instrumental, but he didn't have his best game either. But he was an important person to have in that midfield. And I felt like when we lost Bruno and put him on the left hand side, the midfield battle then swung over to Chelsea because Chelsea then had the extra man. Well, it felt like Chelsea had the extra man in there. We had square pegs in round holes. Bruno off the left hand side. It's not my preferred position for him in the Man United team. I've seen him play there, but for sure when Ten Hag decided to move him to the left hand side, take Sancho off the pitch, put Fred on, and whilst we did get extra legs in midfield from Fred, there's a certain bit of quality that he lacks in his final pass. And look, I don't want to be too anti-Fred right now. The performances he's putting out there are so much better than they were before, but he's still lacking in certain areas. And so bringing Fred on for someone like Sancho, who maybe wasn't taking care of the ball the best that he ever has, but with Sancho on the ball, there's final ball there potentially. I mean, he's not necessarily demonstrating it from the bat now, but I think that decision for me was a bit off from Ten Hag. And I'm a big Ten Hag fan, but I'll call it out when I see it. I don't think that was the best substitution to be making, but who could have come on in that situation to impact? Because Sancho was having a shocker. So it's a tricky one. We ain't got Martial.
Yeah, I was just about to say our bench compared to Chelsea is quite weak. So that's what we need to adjust, because when I looked at that bench, I was just like, I don't blame Ten Hag for being reluctant to bring on subs, because we ended up bringing on Elanga, and Elanga, what were we expecting him to do against Chelsea? Like, literally, we definitely need more quality on the bench to come on the pitch and impact the game, just like what Kovacic did. So there's still room for improvement squad-wise, but in terms of playing style, at least we can see that there's something that we're building up now.
Hey, Jerome, do you know what's interesting with the fact that you put Elanga up front? It's very clear. If you're looking at Elanga, you're looking at Martial, you're looking at Rashford. There's a certain profile of striker that Ten Hag wants to play in these games. Whether it's Rashford moving him out onto the left-hand side, putting Elanga up top, or Martial being he's our number one striker I think Ten Hag's number one striker, is that he wants pace up top.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't really see where we're going to be getting because we can't rely on Martial. I don't really see where we're going to be getting that pace and dynamism up front if it's not from Rashford. Elanga ain't got it. He's not that profile of player anymore. So I think Potter's got more opportunities to exercise his tactical philosophy, whereas Ten Hag's he's working with what he's got.
Yeah, we're a bit thin on the ground, to be honest, but he'll definitely address that, because he's only had one transfer window, to be fair. So he probably need a few more transfer windows to get the squad that he wants and the depth that he wants as well, because I don't think Elanga is the long-term answer. He's got the pace, but he doesn't really have nothing much else, to be honest. He's not really good in the air. He's not really a good finisher. Doesn't have any hold-up play. So it's almost like he just brought on there for his pace and to stretch teams. So we definitely need more options, without any doubt.
Yeah, well, this is where the managers earn their money. You gotta go find that profile of striker. You gotta go in the transfer window. You gotta send your scouts, or you gotta try and identify one. Look, that's why he wanted Darwin Núñez at the start of the season. He's not too technical, but he does got the little bit of pace, and he can finish as well. We've seen his Benfica. Some of his goals for Benfica. But in terms of was it a tactical battle, I think a little bit it was, but I think the quality of the players, and I think everyone was both teams had a bit of an off day, which kind of made it a little bit sloppy. Chelsea, especially towards the end, after they scored their goal, they were just giving us the ball back. Instead of, like the dark arts, Chelsea used to have it with Costa and all these players, David Luiz, and they used to have all the dark arts of let's waste time. Remember David Luiz in the corner flag, pretending he's injured, smiling at the camera? They don't have that anymore at Chelsea, where you're just wasting time. Or take it to the corner flag. They didn't even do that. Straight, give it back to us. We're back on the attack. But yeah, I don't know. It was so much of a tactical masterclass. I know with the substitutions, I see why he puts Bruno out on the left or out on the wing sometimes, because if you're for a player in the midfield, if you're giving away too much chances, you're making too much errors, you put him out on the wing to hide him a little bit. Because if Bruno now makes a mistake out wide, the ball goes out for a throw-in, they're not cutting straight through our midfield and going onto goal. So I can understand that from Ten Hag. Bruno didn't have the worst of games, but I think he's been one of them players that does need to step it up, especially with having the armband as well. But Yeah, it was one of them games, bro. One of them games, I think.
Maybe on from that because of course the goals that took place, we've got Chelsea scored that penalty with McTominay with that situation there. Obviously, you can talk about it all day long and say that it was a bit soft. But Casemiro himself, which one player that I would like to talk about, what a player he's been. What a signing we needed in a very long time, you know. Someone that can dictate as well and help defensively, makes everyone calm as well at the back, and so everyone else can just do their job and carry on. Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen able to strut their stuff in the first 30 minutes. What a signing. And what a goal. What a first goal as well. And the celebration, the passion is what we asked for, guys, right? That is what we want.
Bro.
I felt that when we scored the equaliser, I can't lie, I was totally gassed. Because I'm gonna lie, I thought the game was lost. I was just sitting there thinking, we've lost and we didn't deserve to win. Didn't deserve to lose, sorry. Then when he came with that equaliser, he just bringing that winning mentality to the team. And it looks like now he can come into his own now. He can probably end up being our main guy going forward. And I think that he can actually offer us more than what he was doing at Real Madrid. Because he obviously had Kroos and Modric in front of him. But now we're slowly seeing that he's actually got more to his game than just being a DM and just breaking up play and passing it to the next guy. He can actually shoot. He's good in the tackle. He's shown that he can head as well. Like, he's just got everything. He's got good leadership qualities. He's literally like rallying up the troops as well. So it's good that we're bringing in leaders in the team. So yeah, I'm definitely happy we got him now.
It will take time. I think he still needs to get up to the pace of the Premier League. I think it was a bit of a shock the first couple of games.
Yeah.
That's the reason why Ten Hag didn't start him. Anthony came straight in because he does got the pace, and he already knows Ten Hag's system. Where Casemiro is slowly bedding in and he's looking all right. He's not. When you watch United, you don't see Casemiro. Wow, he's amazing. He just does his work quietly, cleans up. If you really break down his game, then you see. Wow, what a player he is. What's going on? Who's washing the dishes backstage?
Who's out here throwing dishes? Who's angry?
That's Mac.
Oh, sorry, that's me. That's
what's going on in your background?
Fred and McTominay in the background saying, enough of this Casemiro talk. We need to be starting. But yeah, like he's a player where you just sit there and you're like, if you really watch his game, you're like, wow, look what he's doing for the team. But he's not really like the flashy player. And this is what you need. You need him to go on and do his job. And look, he's looking good, man, looking solid. And that's why, like you said, helps our backline now. Everyone feels a bit calmer instead of McTominay and Fred and then Maguire in the back. That, I don't know, a bit shaky. But yeah.
I've got to say, I feel like Ten Hag's done well. He's managed them well. My only question is, when you see performances like this, why wasn't he in the team sooner? I know Scott McTominay was there. I know. He was putting in performances better than we've ever seen Scott McTominay. I mean, not for a long time anyway. I ain't seen Scott McTominay put out performances like that in a while. But when you see Casemiro and what he can bring to this team, my only question is, could we have found a way to get him into this team sooner? And could we have got these performances against Man City instead of against Chelsea and Spurs? Do you know what I mean? But look,
yeah, you know what, Moses? I think you're right there in a way. I also think players. I think Ten Hag's building a culture where you need to fight for your spot. Casemiro against Sheriff and against the other Omicron, whatever they're called.
Pneumonia.
What teams we're versing here, but he didn't really do a great job in them games. So you really got to be like, okay, McTominay's been actually playing well. You got to give him credit and let Casemiro fight for the spot. Look what happened with Malacia and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's come in and he's like, "Now this spot's mine." And if we had Martial fit, that front line again, who's starting? Anthony, Rashford, Martial, Ronaldo. If everyone's firing and everyone's fighting for their positions, treble.
But that's one thing I do agree with, because we had favourites FC in the previous regime, and I hated that.
Absolutely.
Players that were playing poorly, just not having any pressure for their position and just constantly playing every week. But now, Eric Ten Hag just like, I don't care if I bought you for 80 mil, 100 mil, you need to fight for your place, and whoever's playing well, they'll keep their place. I'm not just gonna like play one player, he plays well, then change him for another one, because we need to get that stability. Players need to understand each other and get match rhythm.
To that point,
yeah,
though,
I definitely like that way. I definitely like his approach to the team and keeping everyone on their toes.
And that's
But
and that's what
he didn't do that with Alanga. He didn't do that with Alanga and Anthony. He didn't do that with Martinez. Didn't do that with Ericsson. I'm not saying that there's nothing. I'm not. The question is for me though, could he have done it? And like when you look at Casemiro in the Premier League, my man looks ready. He looks primed. It looks like he's built for the Premier League. Could do everything. Tackle. He loves a challenge, and he's getting into the, like you say, Jerome. We ain't seen.
Yeah.
He weren't really doing this at Real Madrid, but we saw at Everton. He could have scored. He got the assist against for Ronaldo. Gets into the box in the last minute. Like he was ahead of I think the commentator thought it was Scott McTominay that scored that, but my man was the furthest man forward in attack, and we were looking for a defensive midfielder, but he's bagging us an equaliser in the last. Anyway, what my point is that I think Casemiro, we've seen enough from him historically to know that he was going to be a good player at Man United. We're now seeing that. We're now seeing that. Yeah. So my only thing for me that is lingering now, whilst we're able to toast this sublime footballer that we've got in our team, is could we have got him in there soon? That was the only thing I was wondering.
We probably, to be fair, we probably could have, but I think he probably just looked at him for McTominay stepped up his game as soon as he saw that we signed Casemiro, so he thought, okay, this McTominay's actually doing what I've asked him to do. He's actually playing well, so I don't want to almost punish him by putting him on the bench. So let me just keep it going, because we was winning prior to Casemiro coming in. They was on a good run, so he would have thought, let's not unsettle the squad and just keep things ticking over. But I do agree with you, because I can't even lie to you, I don't rate McTominay at all, and I would have rather Casemiro just came straight in and just played. But I could kind of see where Ericsson Hub was coming from in keeping a team that was already winning, and McTominay was actually playing quite well.
I'm not gonna lie, I can too, man, because I thought he was just taking it step by step, building him up. But it looked like, look at it now, like the way he gone about it, it looked like it worked out in the way Eric Ten Hag wanted to do the things. But I'm happy for that, and I'm happy for Casemiro that he's getting that first team football now, and then we can stop forgetting about McTominay now. You know, he came on, made a mistake, and guess who saved him? The guy who came to replace him. You get me? So I'm happy. I'm really happy for that. Moving on from the game, guys. Of course, you guys know exactly what happened after the game because it was fireworks. It was much more entertaining than the actual match, you know, what took place after the game. Gary Neville, Roy Keane sat there. Roy Keane, for some reason, which shocks me because I was speaking to Butcher earlier on. I said, Roy Keane's the type of guy, if Ronaldo walked out in the 90th minute, he would have chased him down the tunnel and grabbed him by the ear and dragged him back to the bench and say, where the fuck do you think you're going? So it shocks. I'm in shock that Roy Keane is defending Ronaldo for his behaviors. Of course, guys, if you don't know, Roy Keane backed Ronaldo and said something regarding the manager for what the manager said during the post-match conference and said that, oh, this is a dig towards Ronaldo, how Ronaldo is a legend, a GOAT, and etc. He's supposed to be playing, etc. Never accepting the fact that Ronaldo has walked out the team twice. You guys watched it. I'm going to start off with you, Boche. What was your thoughts on what happened between Gary Neville and Roy Keane, especially Roy Keane's opinion on the whole Ronaldo situation?
Yeah, do you know what, bro? Sometimes I think these Man United ex-players, ex-legend, just give it a rest sometimes, you know what I mean? You're going back and forth on TV, but I can get both sides, to be honest, right? But if it is true Ronaldo didn't want to come on, he was asked to come on and he didn't want to, then look, it's only going to tarnish Ronaldo's legacy. You know, when people look back at it, people are going to look at, everyone says you're only as good as your last game. Well, everyone's going to look at Ronaldo, right, for what he's doing now, especially the young supporters, the people who are just kind of getting into football now, and all they know is Ronaldo and Messi kind of at their peak, not from where they kind of started and they kind of rise to it. I mean, look, we all know what Ronaldo is capable of. Let's be honest, he shouldn't be starting. Every time he starts, we look lost, especially up front. We can't link up play with him because he's always offside. So he doesn't fit the manager system. The manager said he was free to go, but the board wanted to keep him for marketing values or whatever. Okay, we need a squad depth, but what do you think the manager wanted a striker? You got that? Is he Slovenian? No, Slovenian, Slovakian. Yeah. Wanted him. No, didn't want to go in for him. There was all right. We laugh about Arnautovic, but you can obviously see that the manager wants a striker. because Ronaldo. Why would you replace Ronaldo or try to get someone else in? Because obviously it was happy for him to leave, right? So I get both sides with Neville and Roy Keane, but I just think Ronaldo needs to just stop throwing his toys at the pram and just when you because against Sheriff you're missing goals from right in front. Against the other team you're missing goals as well. The team was trying to give you the ball to score, and you got a penalty or whatever it was when he scored. But like I don't know, man. It's a situation where I don't know. I think it's kind of they're making it as bigger than it actually is. Like especially the one against Spurs. Like we win the game, right? Like we win the game, and then like, and apparently he did an interview with MUTV or whatever, and says, "Oh, he had a bit of a niggle. That's why he went down the tunnel and all that rubbish." The PR came out the next day on his social media. But I don't know, man. I just think the sooner this gets sorted, whether it's he sorts himself out, he goes, all right, there's 3 more games or whatever to the World Cup. I'm going to put my head down and I'm ready to fight for this team. And then in January, if he wants to leave, he can leave. Or just give it another 6 months, give it a crack, give it all you got for 6 months, and we'll say thank you very much. To be honest, I don't have any hate towards Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even if he leaves now, even if he terminates his contract today and leaves, I'm still not going to have hate for him because, yeah, we know what he's done. We know what kind of player he is. We know he demands, the trophies and all this sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, bro, you knew in March we weren't making Champions League. You can't say then you have to stay and keep flip-flopping and whether you're staying or going. It's like make up your mind. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one. It's a little bit techie, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's got to stop punching on with each other.
You know what? When I listened to Roy Keane and Gary Neville, for me, it just felt like Gary Neville was making more tangible points and Roy Keane was just talking on emotion. It almost felt like he was talking about his time at United when he left in 2005, when he got shafted from Sir Alex Ferguson.
He was throwing balls under the bus as well.
Yeah, it just felt like he was being bitter and he was just talking from more a player's perspective and almost from his experience. That's why I didn't really take much notice of what he was saying because, like Patrick said, if Roy Keane was the manager, he would never have allowed Ronaldo to behave like that. But now all of a sudden he's coming up with excuses like, "Oh, other players have done worse," and and I was thinking, we're not talking about other players. We're talking about the situation here with Ronaldo. Like, come up with some valid points. So I agree with him to an extent where he said that with us winning 2-0 with 2 minutes to go, what's the point of bringing Ronaldo on? I could understand that, but at the end of the day, Erik ten Hag is the boss and he makes the decisions. The players are not the boss. The manager needs to be able to exert his authority and make instructions which the players need to adhere to, regardless of whether there's 2 minutes or 10 minutes left of the match to go. If you're asked to go on, you go on and play. That's what you're paid to do. So in that respect, Ronaldo disrespected the manager and he disrespected the players and the club for walking out, refusing to play and walking out. And Gary Neville did make a valid point because he said that we are playing better without Ronaldo in the team. And Gary Neville is a massive Ronaldo fan. He loves Ronaldo. Like literally, they're always talking before and after games. But he can see that United are more fluid as a team without Ronaldo. So you can see why he's not a regular starter on the team. And I think that's where the frustration from Ronaldo is coming from, is that he's not a regular starter in games. And he's spending most of his time sitting on the bench. So I can see points from both points of view. But overall, I think that Gary Neville made the more valid points. And we are better off long term without Ronaldo, who won't be at the club next year anyway. So we need to start looking to the future. We can't be playing for Ronaldo. We need to be trying to play to Erik ten Hag's system, which is going to be utilising for the next few years. So that's the way I see it, to be honest. And Ronaldo should have left in the summer. Obviously, no Champions League club wanted him. So if he's desperate to leave now, what's he going to do now? What, leave for a non-Champions League club? Yeah. Because no club in the Champions League wants him.
I just want to stop you there. I just want to stop you there because I want to move it up to Moses, get his take here because we're going to the next topic. Moses, of course, what's your take on it? Because Gary Neville, all of a sudden, he's now become a pundit and no longer an ex-manager's friend. And all of a sudden, he's saying stuff that you're surprised, thinking, well, Gary, you never talked like this last season. And now it's Roy Keane behaving like you. It's crazy. But Moses, what was your thoughts on Roy Keane's behavior or Gary Neville's conversation with him?
Do you know what? I think I think there's two schools of thoughts here, and I think the guys have pretty much hit the nail on the head already. Like Gary Neville is a Manchester United fan at the end of the day, and when he watches games, he's not out there trying to preserve. He's not there on a PR thing. He's trying to preserve. Well, it seems like more and more nowadays, anyway, that he's here. He's trying to. He's putting out the best energy there possible to preserve Man United's dignity and heritage. You could tell Roy Keane was triggered when he saw the way Ronaldo was getting treated or whatever happened to Ronaldo at the Spurs game. Bear in mind, we need to remember, Ronaldo had already said, by the time he'd walked off, he'd already refused to come onto the pitch. So when we see him warming up with Garnacho and Zidane Iqbal on the side, he's already said, I'm not coming on the pitch. So my man's just, we don't know at what point he said he's not coming on the pitch. By the time he walked down, it was about 4 or 5 minutes left of the game. By that point, he already said no, and he's already as far away from the touchline as he possibly can be by the time he walks down that tunnel, innit? Anyway, Roy Keane is preserving Ronaldo's memory, innit? When he talks about Ronaldo, he talks about him as if he's still the great player that he was. And I'm not saying he's not a great player, but there was levels to this. Ronaldo was, you never even think about dropping him. You never even think about it. But the Ronaldo we're seeing now playing for Man United isn't the same Ronaldo. Let's just. And we knew that last season. But he was still putting in top performances. This all stems, for me, from pre-season when he wasn't there. And I'm not sure what the reasons were. I'm not going to say he threw his toys out the pram. We don't know what the reasons were. There's some people saying that he had family, personal issues. I don't know that, innit? So all I can say is that's where it came from. And Ten Hag didn't start him. Well, he didn't give him the same amount of chances as he would have played that did pre-season, because there's a pecking order. In my opinion, that's what's happened. And so Ronaldo not coming onto that pitch at a point where Man United are more dominant than they've been in a game for a long time. If it's last 10 minutes, you come on. Ronaldo of old would usually be like, okay, I want to come on and bag some goals. You know that there's some issues underlying there between Ten Hag and Ronaldo for him to flat out refuse to come onto the pitch. When we got a Tottenham team there for the taking, you could see 3-4 goals being added to that. The amount of chances we created in that game, we should have been 5-6-0 up. So surprising for me that Ronaldo's now, his focus is, his head was gone in it. His focus wasn't on about scoring goals and helping the team, like he says in his post afterwards. His head was gone. All he was thinking is, how am I, Cristiano Ronaldo? We saw him standing by the wall with the Man United badge behind it, arms crossed behind it, just like. By that point, he'd already said no, innit? You can see Ronaldo just processing it in his head, like, what has happened to me? Like, how am I at this club not getting game time? Like, you could see that his head was just completely gone. So for Roy Keane to be protecting him in that manner, for me, suggests that they've spoken and he's in agreement that Ronaldo should be starting. And I know we've got Rashford up front, who's not finishing chances. He probably should have scored against Newcastle, and definitely should have scored against Newcastle. Ronaldo scores that. So I think the issue that Roy Keane's trying to raise is, how is Ronaldo not starting these games? And the question isn't anything to do with Ten Hag, it's to do with Ronaldo. Like you say, like Borje said earlier, like, how many times did we try and get him a goal against? Was it Sheriff? No, it was it was Sheriff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It
was one of those teams where we tried to guide him to the goal.
His form's not there, his confidence not there. Like, you saw the way he was reacting, it looked like he's doubting himself. So for me, you can't be saying flat out this man's got to be starting when the performance he's been putting in don't suggest that he's even fit or ready to be putting in to impact our team. So just to add, he never cares about Man United, and he said, look, he's called it out for what it was. But Roy Keane's trying to preserve the memory of Ronaldo in the same way that he wanted his memory to be preserved when he was getting shipped off to Celtic. Do you know what I mean? So for me, disappointing from Roy Keane. I kind of hear what he's saying, because obviously it's the GOAT we're talking about. But at the end of the day, you can't say that Ten Hag wasn't justified. My man, like you say, bro. If Roy Keane was the manager, this was done at Sunderland, bro. This is another. We're talking about a different reaction. We're not talking about Ten Hag saying, "Look, let's just celebrate the performance." Roy Keane is digging that man out straight away. So,
the annoying thing as well. It's like when Ronaldo does play. I think did he start against Newcastle? I think it was one of the games.
Yeah,
he did. He didn't score.
It was one game.
He started and got taken off. He started shaking his head.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like those. But it just feels like every time Ronaldo's on the pitch, they look for him. Everything has to go to him. There was one pass where he should have went out to Anthony, and then he could have worked his magic because there was only like one or two players he could take on and maybe whip it on his from his left foot or put a cross in. And Bruno does this diagonal ball between 10 people, try to get it to Ronaldo. And Ronaldo's not in the middle. He's all the way out on the left-hand side. It's like, bro, why is everyone trying to just go to Ronaldo? And it's annoying and it kills everything. Like it breaks down our play. And then when you want to get it to him, he's offside. And everyone keeps saying, well, the chance that Rashford had at the end against Newcastle, Ronaldo scores. I don't even think he does. Because if you look at the Newcastle game, every time you want to whip a ball into the middle, he's out wide. He's never in the box. So I don't think he would have been in the box to take that chance as well. So I don't know. I think it's time. I think we all know where it's going anyways. It's funny how everyone was saying last season that he doesn't suit our system, and now they're complaining. Now other fans and pundits are saying that he should have left last year, even though he scored all them goals. And now all of a sudden you bring him into the team. So which one is it? Like sometimes I think they just take the piece a bit. I don't know.
Big up to everyone that's tuning us. Always make sure you subscribe. Everyone that's watching through Facebook, Twitch, and also YouTube, smash that like button. Follow across all social media platforms, and make sure you follow everyone that's here as well that is tuned in. One thing I have to add to that before we move on to the Premier League wrap up is that Ronaldo, you had times where people sat on the bench for you. You've had players who played out of position for you and done the grafting for you, especially Wayne Rooney and Karim Benzema. They had to play on the left wing and pretend not to be a striker when they are naturally a striker, and you was the winger. You know, so I'm just going to say that, Ronaldo, you had your time. Now it's your time to sit on the bench and support the team. It's part of life. It's called father time. And it catches up to everyone at the end of the day, you know. It's life. But guys, smash that like button. But we're moving on straight, of course, because I wanted to talk about Varane, but too much time has been taken away. We move it up straight into the Premier League wrap-up where our foes, Liverpool, are just struggling. You know what? We started off the season where we was looking like, oh, it's going to be a long one for us. But right now, for a Liverpool fan, it's hard. You know, Nottingham Forest again. You got the man just saying that Nottingham Forest is spending money and they can't compete with that. Wow. I think this is Klopp's last season, guys. What was your thoughts on Liverpool's result?
Hey, you love to see it, man. You love to see it. Look, I don't know what's happening there at Liverpool at the moment, but you know, that rock and roll football mentality monsters, I don't think it's sustainable for a long period of time with the same players. Yeah. I think all players need to come in throughout you can't be winning the league and winning Champions League and buying no one. You can't be losing the league by 1 point to City and getting Darwin Núñez, who not really proven in the Prem, but then who else are you getting to try? Your midfield's the issue. Liverpool fans can tell me all year round, next year, Jude Bellingham. You're telling me about Mbappe when you signed with Nike deal. Where is he? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just, we're hoping to get these players. You got to get these players in. Look at the midfield. You got all these injuries, and you got Arthur, who's injured. And you got him, and Juve couldn't wait to get rid of him. They tried to ship him off to Arsenal in January. Do you know what I mean? It just, look, you love to see it. You love to see it because you're telling these fans, yeah, you can celebrate Jurgen Klopp and the best manager. You had the best left back, right back, and the center back and goalkeeper and best front three in Europe. Yeah, but then
best defender that ever graced the Premier League ever.
Exactly, the best Premier League team ever. Now, if you can't beat Fulham, you can't beat Everton, you can't beat Forest, like you could at least get us. You could at least get a goal. What happened to Salah? Big it's like a curse. Everyone that signs these big deals, they fall off. Like Sanchez, Aubameyang, Lukaku's, all these guys, big money deals, and all of a sudden everyone's just kicking back. So you love to see it, bro. You love to see it. I think
the problem with Liverpool is that they haven't really strengthened accordingly. They've just more or less used the same players for the last few years. Everyone's getting a year older now, and most teams in the Premier League are used to the way they play. So it's almost like they're in a sort of decline. They're not like a City team that can just like go in and just bring in whoever they want. It's almost like Klopp has to kind of just like pick and choose who to bring in. So That's the only sympathy that I have for them. They can't compete in the transfer
I
market.
disagree, bro. I disagree. I think they do have the money there to bring whoever, quote unquote, whoever they want. They can bring players in. You can't be winning Champions Leagues and all that and getting no one. So where's this money going? Why he's still spending?
I don't know, and I just think that most of the players that they've got, they bought in are on the back of selling players. They've got a lot of revenue from the sales that they made to get the players that they've got in, and I think they've had to rely heavily on Klopp's coaching, to be honest. And I think
exactly, and
I think they just kind of hit their peak now, and it's almost like they just need to start the rebuilding process again.
Yeah, exactly. Klopp can't rebuild for one, and this is where Liverpool fans now need to realize that instead of making excuses, Klopp will make him a best player because Klopp is the man. You know, he's gonna make everyone the GOAT. Start looking at your owners, the ones that are not putting in the money. You're all going to buy their jerseys and everything you're putting into the club, but the owners aren't. So I think they're going to start making their voices heard if they want a little bit of change. Because we had it at United. We lost 2 games in a row, absolutely humiliated at the start of the season. A few protests, all of a sudden the panic spending started happening. You know what I mean? And look at our team; it's slowly shaping up into a Ten Hag team. Where there, Klopp is. Because they bought in players, they can't compete with them. What kind of ridiculous shit is that, bro? Last time the grass was too wet, was too dry, was the skies.
Do
you remember in COVID where he goes, that it's because the seats are the same color as our jerseys. They couldn't see each other. Come on, Klopp. Come on, man. And
he does make a lot of excuses, to be fair.
I don't know. You love to say it. You love to say
it. Definitely, guys. You love to see it.
But the good thing, at least that opens up top 4 now for us. It's made it more open.
I was just going to say on Jerome touched on it touched on it briefly, but I was saying this to Liverpool fans, and they found it hard to take. But I don't know what you guys think in it, but for me, Liverpool are in a transition period. Like they're in a full-on transition period, and it sounds mad. It sounds mad because you're looking at the team, you're looking at where they were last year. But for me, at any point when they lost one of that famous 3, they were in a transition straight away. I know they got Luis Diaz, they got Darwin Núñez, but when you've got to say when you got Klopp in pre-season saying, look, I can't buy another midfielder. What's going to happen to Fabio Carvalho? What's going to happen to Harvey Elliott's minutes? And that's when I deeped it. I was like, oh shit, like this is now the rebuild. This is now the first step in the transition where they brought in Harvey Elliott last season, but they brought in these young midfielders and now they're looking to blood them. They got Fabinho struggling. They got Jordan Henderson struggling. Like that midfield is going for a rebuild. I'm not saying that these Harvey Elliott or Fabio Carvalho are the answers or they're not going to be good enough, but they're in a transition period. And Liverpool, they don't transition the same way most other big clubs do. They can't just throw hella pounds at trying to rebuild this team. They've got to do it carefully considered the way that they came up in the first place. So the one thing I'll be saying to Liverpool fans right now, if there's any even tuned in right now, but you guys have to get Champions League football or this could be Liverpool could be in a bad place come 2023, 2024. Because them man thinking they're getting Jude Bellingham, bro. They got the same problem we had last year. Like we had to get top 4 to even be rebuilding. So do you guys right now. So let's see if Liverpool be playing Europa League football next season, because that could be the end of this Klopp dynasty.
Absolutely. Moving on from Liverpool, of course, Haaland, 2 goals, Manchester City beating the team, Brighton, the team that destroyed Manchester United in the first game of the season. Haaland, again, a problem. Well, I think everyone here is tired of just looking at their phone screen and keeps on saying Haaland, and more Haaland. But if you have a team, guys, you must be the happiest. If it's your captain, just like me.
You know what the problem is? Everyone else has got him, and everyone else has put him captain, so it doesn't make a difference. So.
Everyone's getting the same points, isn't it?
Man City getting their customary win. Of course, still challenging for the title. I believe they're 1 point behind, doing well. Arsenal, on the other hand, drawing 1-1 on the weekend against Southampton. Guys, what's your thoughts on the Arsenal and Man City so far? It's them two challenging for the title race.
Yeah, so far they're both doing well. Obviously, I'm still impressed with Arsenal. They're still top of the league, but it's almost like City still have a couple of years to go, and it's almost feels that Arsenal are already at their peak. So it's almost the way I see it. It's just only a matter of time before City take that top spot and just pull away, really. But Arsenal are doing
long?
to make it a
Arsenal
contest.
are not losing.
They're not losing, but they drew. And those draws, 1 point here, 1 point there, all of a sudden, they could end up being in second place after a couple of games.
Look, you gotta remember, out of all the top six, if you want to call it, Arsenal and Man City, obviously, but like at the moment, Arsenal they've been under Arteta for like 4 years. He spent $500 million on this squad. You expect some sort of performances now, like, you know what I mean? They're starting to gel.
Yeah.
The thing is that, and I was telling some of the Arsenal supporters, I'm like, listen, when you guys start playing 2 games a week, and then now you got the Queen's funerals, and then we're gonna play some games at the start of the next year, when you're gonna have 3 games a week, you're gonna struggle. Okay, look at it now. You've played Europa League, bad performance against Leeds, just about got the result there. Bamford misses a penalty. They could have maybe even got one at the end if it wasn't for VAR. And then you play Europa League in midweek against PSV, and now you drop points here as well, and another bad performance. Not the performances like you're putting in. So them 2 games a week now for Arsenal is really going to test them to say, yo, where are you guys in terms of, can you keep up? Can you keep that level up? It's not easy when you're playing PSV, or you're playing some team from Azerbaijan, right? And then you got 2 days to prepare for Manchester City, because that's what's going to happen. That postponement game is against City, right? So if they have to play like a round of 16 Europa League game, and then City on the weekend, and then again another Europa League game to back it up at the second leg, you don't got time to plan for these things. City do it easily because they got like 10 squads to put on the field, and they just blow teams out the water, where after 30 minutes you can rest your players. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's the couple games a week is gonna be the Arsenal's Achilles heel, bro. Honestly.
100%.
Moses, do you have anything to say?
100% agree with what Borche just said there. The Arsenal didn't need a title race this season, man. Especially with the Europa League, they need to get Champions League before they can win the Premier League, in my opinion, because we've seen it time and time again. Yeah, you could do all right at the start of the season whilst confidence is high, and you've got. I mean, their squad's thin. We've seen that already. Their squad's thin, and they can enjoy this period at the start of the season where they got a favourable run in the fixtures. I mean, I know they've had Liverpool, and they beat Liverpool, and they beat Spurs, but most of their games have been very favourable. And I would have loved to have seen a midweek Arsenal Man City game just to see how far they actually are. Obviously, that's been postponed for now, innit? But I think Arsenal, like Borche said as well, 2 games against Leeds, they did not. They deserved to come away with 3 points, but they did, and you got to give them credit for that. It was a good, I don't know what Patrick Bamford was on. He was a bit rusty, but whatever. But against Southampton, we saw that Arsenal team, if they come up against a good team and they're not 100% at it, and they've just come out of a Europa League fixture, they're there for the taking. This Arsenal team aren't as good.
Yeah.
Their squad, should I say, isn't as good as everyone's making out to, or as it seems, isn't it? But no, man, you got to give credit to Arsenal though. They're doing well. They're playing good football. They're dominating games more than I've seen them do in a long old time, and they're playing with a system that seems to be consistent with how the manager wants to see them play.
But that's the thing, Moses. They need to keep that level in every single game, which is difficult to do. City can drop a few gears and still get the result comfortably, right? But Arsenal and even United, we kind of we saw against Chelsea, we dropped that level from Spurs in that Newcastle game, and you're not getting the result, you're not getting the goals. But with Arsenal, they were with a few games in hand, ready to make top 4 last season. Start having 2 games, all the catch-ups, 3 games a week, you completely capitulated. And I think they will get top 4. I think they've got enough points at the moment to stay in the top 4. But to try push on with the title, I think it might slip away like early next year, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I think that they're playing. This is Arsenal's best football that we've seen them play in years, and they're playing this at the start of the season. And usually in the Premier League, you usually start off steady, and then usually get better and push on in the second half of the season. And I don't know whether Arsenal can keep up, as the guy said, keep up this momentum from now to the end of the season. That's why I always keep saying it's a marathon and not a sprint. So let's see what happens when all these games come thick and fast, especially after the World Cup, and that'll be the true test. Because right now, City haven't even reached their peak yet, and that's scary. And they're like only 2 points off the top with a big goal difference. And even Chelsea and Man United haven't even reached their peak yet. So there's still a long way to go. But I still think that Arsenal got a good chance to get top 4. But in terms of title race, it's good that they're keeping it interesting in these early stages. But as I said earlier, it's only a matter of time before City just pull away, because they've got their strength in depth is just crazy. They could bring on players like Mahrez. He would get in any team. He would be a starter in any team in the Premier League. So that just tells you how their squad is.
That's exactly so. We just need to wrap it up. Like Jerome said, it's a Mo Farah thing, and it's not a Usain Bolt situation for Arsenal fans. So yeah, we're about to wrap it up, guys. We have come to the end of the show. Big up to everyone that's watching, and for those who are watching on playback, make sure you post your comments, smash that like button, and subscribe. Of course, it's the part where I plug in the guys so you can find them, so you know where to find them. I'm going to start off with Football Capital Boche, to Moses, and then to Jerome. Football Capital Boche, where can they find you? Where can they find the channel? Where can they find everything?
Yeah, look, Football Capital on pretty much all the platforms, Instagram, YouTube. I think Capital Media on Twitter, but I'm sure if you type in Football Capital, I'll pop up.
And Pornhub. Moses.
Yeah, Moses. So if you want to find me on Instagram, it's Moses at Moses Johannes. But if you wanna find me on Twitter, it's Moses_Johannes, and then everywhere else it's WN Wonderball. But yeah, type in Wonderball Media, will pop up everywhere else. But yeah, and yeah, on YouTube as well. Go hit that like subscribe button, but make sure you're subscribing to my boys as well, Red United TV.
And Jerome, love for that. Moses. Jerome, where can the people find you apart from this channel?
You can find me on Instagram under username JWilliams_1.
Yes, guys. And of course, you can always find me here Monday nights as well for your catch up and also your watch along for Manchester United games. Always live when Manchester United play, your match reactions, and of course, Sarcasm City TV. So make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to Red United TV. Follow Red United TV on Instagram. Well, about 100, less under 100 away from 15,000 followers. So make sure, guys, you follow. Smash that like button, subscribe here, continue to support the channel as always, man. Until next time on Monday, we're back again with everyone else again. As I always say, remember to keep it united and remember to keep it Red United, because we are out. Peace and love.
See you later.
See ya.